That is a loading. That's a loading. It's a loading. It's a loading.
Last year, my dad was invited to play a concert in Stornoway, his hometown on the Isle of Lewis. And he asked me if I'd like to be involved. And immediately I thought, what a great opportunity it would be to capture the journey on video and maybe put together a small documentary about my dad, better known as the singer-songwriter Ado Matheson.
Your man is gone that used to work the fields for soon. And the boats are all tied up.
This was a significant trip for us, in many ways. We hadn't been back to the island in over a decade, so emotions were high in connecting with family and friends again. We both felt fortunate to be sharing this time together, and we decided to take my late brother William's ashes up with us, to scatter them in the sea and on the beach we played on as kids. William passed away 8 years ago now, in 2013, from an accidental heroin overdose. And it goes without saying that our lives were changed forever. But we'll talk more about that later. We spent 3 weeks rehearsing before flying up for the show. Me and my dad have shared many musical experiences over the years. It has always been a big part of our lives as a family. Some of my fondest memories are of when everyone's singing together at gatherings and our spirits are lifted by the music. It has also been a great tool for expressing the struggles in life and our individual journeys. Anyone who knows my dad will agree that he brings such a vital, warm energy to any musical situation. He is very much a live performer and an instinctive improviser. I love watching him play and sing.
Will you sing it with me? You won't? Out on the island, beating like a drum.
I mean, I wonder whether that's just at the beginning, isn't it?
You can study the great philosophers, searching for the stone, the foundation that all wisdom surely stands upon. But if you can see the golden gem you're holding in your hand, oh, you'll never be a stranger in your own land.
When we arrived back in Kent from our trip to Stornoway, I sat down with my dad to interview him about his life and music and reflect upon the journey that we'd shared. I thought it would be nice just to talk about your experiences while playing and being there again, and maybe reflecting on some things in the past. But let's start by talking a little bit about how the show came about, you know, with the Kayleys, because it started really a year ago, didn't it, in this room with this mic?
Yeah, actually, right.
Yeah, right, exactly like this.
Exactly
in this.
that, yeah.
Because I remember, it was lockdown, wasn't it? November. Was it last year?
Yeah,
Was it a year
about
ago?
a year ago.
So it was a year ago. It's probably
This
around
time.
this time.
Around this time.
Right around this time. So I remember then you asked me, you said, do you fancy doing this with me? Do you fancy doing this gig? And I thought, well, all right, go on, let's give it a go. And then we started rehearsing. You know, it was all covers. No, mostly.
Mostly.
Mostly because that's what everybody was doing,
Yeah,
wasn't it? Covers.
yeah, it was mostly
So
Cayley sort of.
it was,
atmosphere.
but I felt the vibe from the beginning of that first Cayley. I thought there's something quite special about this.
Yeah, that's right.
Did
That's
you feel that?
absolutely right. Yeah, it was a connecting. It was very. I felt very connected
Yeah.
to it, and it was dear to my heart to make that connection. Very heartfelt.
Yeah, I know. But so with the first Cayley is when you sang your father's song, wasn't it?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's right.
and that
Yeah.
was quite powerful.
That was a very powerful thing to touch it, to tap into. It just opened up a lot of connection with my childhood and my father's influence on me through music. That was a very powerful thing to make that connection again, because I'd sort of got this, that sort of like that distance had grown in a way inside me about it.
Yeah.
And the fact that he wrote to East Mograi was, it made me realise something much deeper about him in that process, in learning the song. And I felt quite ashamed I didn't actually know it.
O shine me tan to hilan mogra Van deur mi mar van ba mi nam fas Van bi moch hier kutjerig moa An een jelang luisjen jong Kef satte van jak mi hilan mogra Så han ik mi wasku rein mi an taf Va machlichen luischen am keinlichen na Come on moch die gat warm O scheide mi tan to ilan mograi For een deur mi
But that soon changed, and I realised. Then I got in touch with my grandfather's writing, and I realised that they were all. I'm just following their influence in my life.
Yeah.
Although I didn't actually necessarily, I didn't sort of go into the Gaelic and carry on the Gaelic that they both spoke fluently. And I felt a bit ashamed about that too.
I'm quite intrigued about like the writing process, because I think we share quite a similar process in that we it's a cathartic thing, that trying to understand life through song,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
And I wonder if it was like that for them, because I don't know directly.
Oh, yeah, yes,
I mean,
I think it was. I think it's quite a common thread amongst a lot of people who find the need to paint or create through sound or through words and music. I think there's a common thread, and you're trying to discover. You're trying to discover why you're here.
Yeah, but it's almost like for some people, maybe like for me and you, I feel it's like less of an intellectual thing.
Yes.
And more of a feeling,
Yeah.
intuitive thing.
I would go along with that. Yes, it
And
doesn't have to be an intellectual thing.
No.
Although there's a place for that too.
Yeah.
But it's more of what's going on, and for you in your life.
That's right. But I mean, I'd be interested to know whether your father, my grandfather, and my great-grandfather, whether they were more technical in their approach. It would be interesting to me, because he was a poet. Your grandfather was an actual poet, a bard, wasn't he?
Yes, yeah, he got the Bardic crown in 1952, I think, the year I was born.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
But he must have had a more, you know, like the way that people write poems, they have a sort of method, you know, a meter.
Yes, a meter method. I think, I'm not sure about that, because if he had any formal training or anything like that, I don't know. But it was certainly in his certainly he didn't do it to my mind or to my memory of what I used to hear about it. There was no mention of that.
Yeah. Well, we'll look into that. But like coming back to the shows we got together to do these ceilidhs, and that's how, because we've ended up a year down the line from doing these ceilidhs going to do a live show back in your hometown.
I know.
Which is just
really
incredible.
Is incredible.
The whole journey of that, and those ceilidhs were, and you singing your father's song. I felt the energy, something happening then.
Oh yeah.
It was magic to see.
Rock and roll, Dad.
I'll show you rock and roll.
When there's yogurts about, my dad doesn't speak very much. He tends to, there's not many words that come out of his mouth when he's eating a yogurt. In fact, I've actually witnessed him going for a bit of a yogurt fix at about 3:30 in the morning. I didn't know what it was that was moving.
No, that was sleepwalking.
Through the room.
That was sleepwalking.
When there's a yogurt in town, forget it. Forget it.
This green tree's got apple tree in it. Apples.
It's got apple tree in it.
See, and also because I remember when you were on stage, when we on in the shows that we've just come back from, I realised how much it meant to you. I could see it, and you said about the connection with that audience, what you'd shared with them, and I thought, God, I see now. Just that feeling that you've been through all this stuff with them. And it was evident as well in the first Kaylee, because you were sharing songs, the Massachusetts, the Ripple, and all that. And it was like having a glimpse for me into what, because often I've heard you talk about, those times.
Oh, the way, yeah.
And but that connection with that audience, it was it's just been an incredibly emotional,
very emotional, and
right,
a beautiful. I mean. What's wonderful that something actually happened almost like organically to have that connection again, which I find absolutely fascinating, that it's not something like I suggested or anybody suggested to me, it just happened.
Yeah.
And it was like, a real there was a real need to share that.
Yeah.
I felt an incredible need to share that and connect again. The connecting with everybody again was absolutely like just fantastic.
Well, you couldn't. I remember a few times recently I've said that, we're just like mesmerised by the fact that we just couldn't plan these things.
No,
do you know what I mean? It's just because I had this question here to you about. Well, I often think about the fact that if we knew what was coming, we'd never take the first step outside. And the question I have for you with this in mind is, when you left the island all those years ago, could you have imagined how things would unfold and the circumstances that brought you back home this time around. And the world was a really different place back then. But the question is, what were you searching for? Did you find it? And how do you see it all now, looking back?
That's a good question, all right. Well, yeah. But yeah, well, the whole thing was like, you know, setting off on a search for, I suppose, looking for yourself in so many things. And, you know, like, just like most of the people of my age at that time were off looking for something in the world. It's so different growing up on an island because, you without even realizing it, you're connected to the elements and to the sea, very powerful connection with the sea. And just all these things you just take for granted because they're around you all the time. And, you could say, really, in a beautiful place like the Isle of Lewis, it's like, why isn't that enough? Why isn't it enough to just be in a beautiful place, surrounded by lovely friends and relations and
But it's so natural though, isn't it, to want to reach out to the further shore, you know what I mean, just discover.
But yeah, well, adventure
Yeah.
initially is what pulls you, like what's happening down there, like with all the music that was happening at the time, there was such a pull to what's going on down in London, we've got to go to the big city and find out what it's all about.
Yeah.
You soon find out. You soon find out, and that's the stunning thing, that we're always looking for this sense of something to fulfill you, and you explore all these avenues looking for this fulfillment, and you just don't. It's just not there. It's not in these things, and eventually, you turn around and start looking within yourself.
Yeah.
And that's the beginning of a like a spiritual journey, I suppose. That's the beginning of realizing everything around you is like elusive and.
Yeah.
British Airways flight 1486 to Glasgow to board through gate A21.
Sa vi duvaren jam Bargo de vasya di mai Di yo na Bracho de ar Something about you I felt I recognized as I gazed upon your metamorphic line and read the writing on the plaid written on the contours of your back. In celebration of the new millennium, took the oldest rock beneath the sun, placed it in Hyams country park, where the moon shines on your face in the dark. Louisiana, all the way from the western Isles, Louisiana. mystery holds the history of our lives. From the formless energy of pure sound, the rhythm of all life unbound, that forms our planet's earthly crust. 3,000 billion year old dust. Louisiana, all the way from the western isles. Louisiana, your mystery holds the history of our lives. As I go walking through these trees, and I'm listening to the secrets on the breeze, in the presence of your company, every inch of you a part of me.
God, the quiet time's quiet, isn't it? Huh?
It's Tuesday night. You wait till Friday night. It'll be just like being back at the YM.
Wild. Down in Louisiana, crossing New Orleans. Back up in the woods on the evergreens. There stood a little boy named... Still a country boy named Johnny B. Good. He never ever learned to read or write so well, but he could play a guitar like ringing a bell. I said, go, go, Johnny, go, go, go. Johnny be good tonight. There's the YM. That's where the YM was. That was the YM. I don't know what it is now.
No, no, there's some strange looking lights in there though. I think maybe it's like a red light district. Is there a red light district in Stornoway?
Yeah, river or something there. No, that's it. That was town.
Welcome home, mate. Who's this? So would you say, like, so themes in your music, they reflect that, don't they? They reflect that journey, even though it might be about, say, it's not really exile, is it? I mean, being away. It's about, it's like there's a kind of grieving for the homeland, and you know, but at the same time, you could say that's the spiritual journey, couldn't you?
Yes, and well, initially you're become more. I feel I became much more appreciative of my roots, and much more appreciative of the fact that I had the experience of growing up on the islands, and that I was in touch with it. I began to get back in touch with it all, and you know, but I realized that what I was really looking for, you know, I couldn't find anywhere outside me on the island or in the city or in London or wherever, or anywhere in the world. What I was looking for was already there, but I just wasn't ready to see it within myself.
Which is a really, it's natural, isn't
it? Natural,
I mean,
yeah. It's pretty natural.
Yeah.
Pretty normal. There's no big deal about it. There's no big deal about it, but it's a switch that it's like a switch, just a little switch that goes on that says, you know, it's okay to be yourself, and this is how it is, and come into the present with it all. Yeah. Come into the presence of the present.
Yeah.
Wherever you are, it's like, you know, wherever you are, it's not an external thing anymore. It's an internal.
That's right. And the highs and lows are within that, aren't they?
Yeah.
Just be with the highs and the lows of the experience.
It doesn't mean that everything goes okay.
No.
You still got, you know, the same challenges in life. It's just that there's just the difference is you're not swayed by them. You're just more, I feel more in acceptance of them now.
Yeah.
And whereas before I thought, oh, there was an answer out there. And of course, I realised there's not, like a lot of people do, and you come to accept the path before you, you know, as being, this is what you've got to go through today.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, I mean, because these themes, like, because in the Healing Waves, the second album, you know, I mean, the subtitle to that is, was it Songs of Love, Liberation and...
Oh yes, Songs of Loss, Love and Liberation.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Because, you know, we've often had the conversation, you know, it's like maybe it's too, you know, for some people they don't necessarily want to go there, but I don't find it depressing at all.
No, I don't.
I mean, it's deep and sometimes quite difficult. Maybe when you talk, some of the songs are, you know, very emotional, but it's sort of like part of it. It's just part of it, isn't it? It's just.
I think it's very much part of the heart. If you going to get to know the heart, then the heart expresses sadness.
Yeah,
and it's very important. In fact, you know, some of the most, if you listen to music, all blues music, you know, they're expressing something from deep within, that in expressing it, they're healing themselves.
Yeah. And
I feel with the Healing Waves, it was necessary for me to express as much the grief I felt from the loss of my son William, that in order to express it all, to go inside it all, is the way to release it.
Yeah. And
I think when you hold on to this grief or pain or whatever it is, then you're actually you're not letting go of it. You're holding on to it. Therefore, it sustains itself inside you. Whereas if you do release it through something, through some form of expression, through painting, through music, through songs, or anything.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be. Yeah, it doesn't have to be art.
It means that
yeah.
then all that comes into life, and you can learn to let go, and also not move on, so to speak, but move through the experience as part of your life.
Well, it's been magical for us, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Some experiences. Talking of William, and whilst we were up in the Isle of Lewis, we decided for this concert, to release his ashes.
Yeah, it was a very, very beautiful experience.
Which, it was for me too, and just the circumstances of it. You just couldn't have planned it. It comes back to that again, and it stuns you. Well, the way that afternoon, morning, was it? What time was it?
I loved the way you woke up in the morning and said, I've got this feeling that we should take the ashes to Holland Beach. And immediately you said that, I feel like yes, absolutely right.
Yeah.
Spot on. And the weather was the weather was kind that morning.
Well, it was the song, the drum, because we decided late on in the rehearsals to add the song that you composed.
The Isle Rising.
The Isle Rising.
Yeah.
Like a drum, and that was that. The men had died near Holland Beach, hadn't they? But the thing about the Isle Rising is it's got this sense of death, but also dancing in death. Do you know what I mean? It's like this spirit rising.
Yeah,
in
the spirits. You feel that sense of the spirits freeing themselves.
Yeah, which goes back to what you were saying earlier, just now about the grief.
Yeah,
moving through it.
The grief coming out.
Let's embrace this.
Because
thing.
like one of the beautiful things I think about embracing the sadness, the grief in death, is that I feel it lets life in. So it's like there's a freeing sense. Whereas if it's suppressed, then it's sort of like it stays at that point. But this sense of the freeing, it's like that there's joy in it. There's something else.
Yeah.
It engages with something much more that's full of life. Full of life.
Yeah. And humbling. It's a humbling thing, isn't it?
It's so humbling.
And you're silenced. You're listening in a way that you may not have listened before.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. And to think that you use words like that around this stuff, I mean, it amazes me. But it's there.
It's stunning. It's stunning. But there's something liberating about embracing it all and releasing it all. Yeah. There's something, because at the end of the day, that time will come for each one of us, and it's like while we're alive, we can sort of prepare ourselves in some way for that letting go, that incredible time, when that happens to each one of us. And it's like you never know how that will come about. It's not for us to know.
No, because I often think that sometimes before William's passing, there was this idea in me that it's ridiculous, but this idea that maybe you can escape. Obviously, you'll never escape death, but when you're actually really it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And okay, so what's left to do other than enjoy it? Life.
Exactly.
That's
the most beautiful thing that can come out of that way of being.
It's like you're not going to get. There's no argument with that reality.
No, because you then become grateful for life, grateful for your experiences, grateful for what life has given you every day.
I tell you what, so, you could not have planned that better. Dad, how about that? How about that? I mean, come on, tell me something about that experience.
I'll tell you what. Well,
I mean, exactly what we were saying this morning, though.
you got to be in the present moment in life.
No, but is that? How could you have planned it?
You
know?
can't plan these things. These things happen because the universe wishes it to happen, and nature's way.
If there's anyone seen Addo, I don't know. I've seen him somewhere. Have you seen?
I've seen Guru Marak somewhere.
So, all the talking's over. It's fight night. Dad's doing vocal exercises. You up for it, Dad?
At the moment, you want the truth?
So we are going to be playing in this building over here, which is called the lanntair. This is it.
Do you need someone to play with you for the night?
Yeah, I do actually.
I'll join you if you want.
Okay, you're hired. Let's go.
Not cheap.
Oh, well, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah? Okay, let's do it.
But if you're up for it, let's go.
Let's go. Yeah.
I'd like to thank you all for coming along tonight. It's the second night of the show, and like Scott was saying, on behalf of Ian MacArthur and myself, it's been such a privilege to put this show together. It's joining 3 or 4 generations of musicians of the island's lineage together. And I'm going to be sad when it's all over. Last night was amazing. We want tonight to top it. I'm going to shut up. So please welcome Adam Matheson and friends.
With you out on the island. Can you sing that line? Out on the island. That's all you gotta do. Out on the island. Out on the island. That's better. Let me hear the Hebridean heart. Out on the island. Wow, get better. Out on the island. On the sand and the foam. Out on the island. You got it. In the heart and the soul. Out on the island. In the wind and the rain. Out on the island. Around the peacock plane. Out on the island. In the love and the love. Can you feel the love? I sure can feel the love. Oh yeah, I can feel it now. Out on the island. Ah! Thank you so much. That was brilliant. Ah, that was fabulous. Sat down on Gangai Slater's seat, looked out across the bay, and casting nets into the sea, were the ghosts of yesterday. The trawlermen and the whalers, the smell of herring in the air, the flashing beacon on the rock that sank the Islair. It's a long dark road that burns the candle down, whatever you become. A hunger in the heart that turns you round, beating like a drum. Like a drum, like a drum, like a drum, beating like a drum.
When you were singing The Islair Rising on the evening, I was there, and there's a couple of things I wanted to talk to you about for that. And one of them is I thought maybe I got a glimpse of what it would be like to have been on stage with you back in the day when you were playing in the YM, which you've talked about, because you were really going for it, and you were really emotional, and I just thought you come alive, I think, in a live performance.
Yeah,
I think that's your arena.
Yeah, when we were growing up, there was no recording studios. It was all about playing at the dance and making music that made people dance.
Yeah.
So it was all about, the live interaction.
Yeah.
That's what people came out on a Friday night to do. They wanted to have a good time and have a dance.
Well, it's also, it's that, but I think for you, like from my observations, is that there's a performer out there called Richie Havens, I think.
Oh,
do you know him?
yeah.
Freedom!
Oh,
He does that
yeah.
wonderful. But I
He's
saw
alive.
him live once.
Yeah.
And I've listened to his records and they're good.
Yeah.
But when you see that guy on stage
Oh,
live,
it's
you feel
totally
like the duendes. Do you know what I mean?
Totally different. It's
like, whoa.
It's got the shakes
all
going.
happening. But I get that sense with you a lot. Is that duendes? It's about live energy.
It's definitely always been about that. I've never really. That's never been tamed in me. I just feel that it's like it's just like a reaction that you can't describe really. It's just like something that happens.
Beating like a drum. Well, we're going to finish now. Have yourself a wee dram. Get ready for an Alan sip. Thank you.
But it seems at the moment you're playing or experimenting with new material.
Yes.
There was quite a few new songs.
Yes.
Including the it's not called Stranger. What's it called?
Stranger in My Own Land.
It's Stranger in My Own Land.
Yeah.
Yeah. The beginning of the song on the Saturday evening, I think, when you introduced the song before you performed it, you were speaking about that it had been a very difficult time for you, and you felt this was a turning point.
Mm. Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, yes, I feel like I haven't been that song. Just again, when you're ready to, songs just seem to happen when at the right time, and I feel like I've been struggling, in the last few years to find myself in this. So much has happened with loss, and I've been, finding it difficult to find my way again, or to even think about continuing with this, because
music, yeah.
and that, and because not only is it incredibly difficult to do, if you want to do it.
Well, there's so much has to go into it.
Yes, so much has to go into it.
Trying to record things, the arrangement,
everything that's involved,
so
and you sort of wonder, are you up for any more of this? Because you get tired of the whole struggle with it all. But when that song came out, I realised that this is what I was trying to say for a long time. That. That I'd got a glimpse again of, myself, my true self, and I realised that, that's what inspires me on is the steps that I take, you could say, creatively and spiritually, to keep alive with this, to keep meaning it, to keep in the focus of that. And I felt that's I wanted to share that with, although I didn't feel I had prepared it enough. It wasn't finished, but I felt I wanted to share it because that's what I.
Well, I felt watching it. I was there especially on the Saturday evening. That was the best that I'd seen you perform that song. I thought you were so calm with it. And that's what I like to see in performance, is when people are, there's just this sense that they've got it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I think you're right.
They're not trying to prove anything with it.
I think you're absolutely right.
It's just this sort of sense of being so inside what they're doing.
It's like you pass through something, or you just burst the bubble about it, and then you just realise that it's just, you telling your truth, or sharing your truth with people, and there's no nothing to prove about it.
No,
it's just being natural.
Well, life is for the living. That's what the wise men say. If you wake up in the morning, rise up and seize the day. Or if you lose life in the living, and your head is in the sand, oh, you're bound to be a stranger in your own land. For it's here I took my first breath, and it's here I'll take my last, in the presence of this moment, with no future and no past. I let death itself deliver me like a trumpet blowing band. Nevermore I'll be a stranger in my own land. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, and it does feel like a turning point in many ways, I think. I feel there's exciting times ahead for us. I don't know, I think we can really enjoy...
It's so special. It's such a special thing for me to be sharing this with you. I mean, there's this, you've no idea what it's, you know, because, you know, it's like, I can't think of a better thing to share with my son than the truth in music, to reach that place together with, you know, with what we do and share the music is a very special thing.
Yeah, and it's also, I think, for both of us, a place where we can feel William in a way.
Oh, totally. I mean,
it's like he's it just feels that. I mean, when we were on stage doing Take It By the Reins, and I turned to you when you were doing the guitar solo, I was like, I mean, I just thought, it was just like, I just felt it. I was like, I can't believe this. It's like... It felt like something out of, I don't know, it reminded me of Oasis or something, because me and William, you know, we loved those. And in that song, I suppose, is inspired by those times in my life.
Yeah.
And when I turned, I just felt William, like, just watching you do that. So it was like I was next to, it was me and Noel Gallagher. So I don't know. But anyway, no, actually, it's better that it was you. You know, Noel, you know, they're great. But it was just this sense, I can't, you know.
Well, I often get the feeling that, you know, like, I don't know how you explain the presence of spirits, but I often feel that, you know, like, when we're playing together, I often feel William's influence or his, you know, his presence.
Yeah.
And it's really exciting thing to feel as if I know that if he was still here physically, that he'd be part of this. And in many ways, I feel he is part of it, because, you know, you can sense it sometimes, you know. You know, you get these moments when you think, it's almost as if there's someone else in the room.
Yeah. And often, sometimes, it's obviously a very complicated subject to define, you know, because it's just a mystery, but it's almost like I know him more. It's almost closer, in a way, sometimes, where it's no separation. It's like I'm just inside. I've connected somehow to the blanket, or whatever the metaphor people use to describe oneness, or whatever it is.
Oneness.
And I feel that's something, it's electric, actually.
It is. It's like, the reason it can't be explained in words, I think, is because it's energy. And it's like, this energy is like, it's like a presence you feel. It's not something you can analyze or describe, or it's either you're either feeling it or not. And if you are feeling it, it's an incredible sense of awareness.
Yeah, I often think about, the worst thing you can think of is that you're going to lose something you love forever. But when you hear that love is stronger than death, that's what I remember. I mean, it just almost makes you want to go, actually nothing can kill that.
No.
Death can't kill the love I feel.
That's the incredible thing.
Or the connection I feel with people and things.
Well, it's almost like, it's invincible. That love is invincible. It's like the greatest example of it probably is in the Bible, where they talk about, where they crucify the body of Jesus, but the spirit of Jesus they can't touch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like that kind of ignorance that did that did the crucifixion. It thinks it ends at the physical, but it doesn't. It doesn't end there.
Yeah. It's lovely. Okay, well, I think that's quite a good place to finish things up. It's been nice interviewing.
Really.
Have you actually ever been interviewed?
No.
This is the first.
Unlike
really
you, you're an old hand.
Actually, there are a couple of silly questions I've got written down here, which I'm going to fire at you anyway. You're not going to like me for this.
I can't.
All right, you ready? Leonard Cohen or Bob Dylan?
Oh, no. with an absolute fire snitch, Leonard Cohen.
I wouldn't. I feel bad. That's almost like which is your favourite son.
Oh,
do you know what I mean? I shouldn't really ask you.
Two absolutely.
Okay. This is. Oh God. So here we are. Jackson Brown or Van Morrison.
Oh, again, very, very tight. Very tight, but I think Van's just snitched it.
Poor Jackson.
But I love Jackson Brown.
No. Thanks for being great talking to you, man.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Driving in the car, heading to the coast, feeling your love. But just to see you smile makes it all worthwhile, takes me high above. The radio turns on to fill the air with song. The wheels roll on and on, and I'm so glad you've come. Now there's no need to run away from love. Oh, there's no need to run away. I feel you like the sun shining in the sky as clouds go tumbling by. Nothing to believe or reason to deceive, no promises to break. So tender falls the rain that heals the heart of pain to open up again. And I'm so glad you've come. There's no need to run away from love. Oh, there's no need to run away. As the time draws near and everything comes clear, there's nothing to fear. The wind blows through your hair, the music in the air, and colors everywhere. We've had to go this far to see just who we are, driving in the car. And I'm so glad you've come. Now there's no